Hi, I'm Elga Valovirta, and on this one I'm going to go through some of my, or actually most of my favorite 80s rack gear plugins. I have a lot of 80s rack gear, Yamaha SPX90, Lexicon PCN70 here, DC Electronics stuff there. But nowadays the plugins are so good that I've used for the past a little bit, quite a while, just plugins when I'm mixing and when I'm playing here, because it's so handy to have everything in the box, especially when the sound is basically the same. So, the signal chain. This is a ESP Mirage Custom from 80s with EMG 81 S and S single coil pickups. Then it goes to my pedal board, and from the pedal board, I'm not gonna use anything from the pedal board. It just goes there. Then it goes to KHA Audio's amp switcher into ADA MP1 preamp. That goes into Fright Power Station, which acts as a power amp now. Great. And then I'm gonna also use a Marshall 9059 hand-wired Plexi, which is quite heavily mudded. There's Hazemod, Lynch mod, you name it. That goes to the cabinet, both amps, before it goes to the cabinet. The cabinet is oversized Mesa Boogie from 94 with V30s, and I'm miking that with SM57 and Royal 121. You can see the microphones here. So this is the incoming signal, but what you hear is the Royal is minus 9.1 dB quieter, so it just adds this little body to the sound. Great. Then I have sends from this guitar bus. These both guitars, they go to this bus, and I have sends to Dimension D, SPX90, Trichorus, H3000, straight delay, dual delay. Actually not on this one because this is real hardware. I'm gonna use it, not gonna use it. Circular delay, which is a plugin of this. Ping pong delay and a guitar room reverb. I'm gonna play 80s rack gear, gotta play Hysteria, without anything, just the ADA into the Fright power amp, into the Mesa cabinet. Sorry, there was a delay in Dimension D. Now I ruined the surprise. Well, this is how it sounds without anything. Cool, then let's add the Dimension D. So this is a Universal Audio's plugin of Roland's Dimension D. I used to have this as a hardware and also the Clark Technique ones. I've sold them both because this is just like that. Cool, so I'm gonna blend this in. My favorite preset has been for years, the knobs 1 and 4 in. And that's it. So this is the Dimension D. Get hysterical. Great. So, strong recommendation. This is native. This works natively as well. All right. Another one. I have a Yamaha SPX90 here. It's connected, but I'm not using it now because this is by the plugins. Is Neyrinks Symphonic plugin. So this is just this preset, which was pretty much the preset I've used the most with my real SPX90. what is cool as this is also AAX DSP, so if you have a Pro Tools Carbon or HDX system, you can record with this with zero latency. So it sounds like this. It's a bit lushier, a bit kind of flanging going on, more modulation. This is awesome for many stuff, synths, vocals, distorted guitars. I'm gonna show this to you with distorted guitars with the Plexi, and I'm also going to show you this in a context of a real mix. Great, so that is Nering's Symphonic preset. This is the best I've tried. There's a couple of others which I've used, but they were lacking kind of the warmth and whatever, so I guess they just modeled the algorithm, but not the actual input and output transformers and whatnot, but this has it. Great stuff. And I put links to all of these to the description below. Then it's Diatronix Tri-Stereo Chorus, you know, Mike Landau, Dan Huff, you know, great. This is my go-to preset called EV Wide. Nice. And then let's take, you know, the Clean Sounds H3000 Micro Pitch preset. Classic Eddie Van Halen for Unlawful Carnal Knowledge, Balance era, 5150 era presets that I used probably on every single mix I've done on lead guitars and sometimes on rhythm guitars. So it's, you know, a little bit pitch shifting and a little bit delay to the, so it makes just everything wider and lushier. So you can think of this micro pitch if kind of like a static chorus, because those others, there's modulation going, this is just static, but since it pitches, you know, the sides a little bit differently, you get this wide sound. Because, you know, these tracks are mono, but this is stereo bus, and then I'm sending, even though if I would send from here, but these are stereo, so you get the stereo spread. Then this is another that I recently bought. I like this a lot. It's kind of a little bit similar to the Lexicon's PCM42, so it has the kind of the crunch of the input. When you push this, you get this nice thick sound. So this you could use, you know, as like a pusher, not just a delay, but just add thickness to your sound. Like many people uses the PCM42 too, or used. So this is like a straight delay, kind of mono, both sides are the same. things. This, even though it's kind of mono delay, because there's no different delay times on the left and right, it has a modulation. So, and you can choose between different waveforms and you know how much you add the modulation. Let me show you if I add it more. So you can get really crazy sounds. And then, you know, cool thing with what was one thing with the 80s that you delayed the choruses, not necessarily the sound, but just the delay. You chorus the delay. You know, here, okay, I'm gonna return to my basic setting. So that is great. Korg SDD 3000. Then another, I'm gonna actually show these with the distortion. Now, what I've done, let's check out a real life example of a mix of an album, a great band. Not gonna tell you what it is. Thank you for letting me use this, because stay tuned, you will hear. This is an amazing album, amazing 80s style of music. But let's listen that now, so you get a real life experience. You know, I think I used all of these on those cleanest guitars on that song. But anyway, here's the mix. So there's acoustic guitar line, acoustic guitar mic. These are 12-string guitar, and then 2 clean guitars. And I'm gonna bypass the effects and solo the acoustic guitar, so you hear the difference. Check out this effect. I think I used all. And so on. But you get the idea. So just your basic acoustic guitars, clean guitars, you know, they sound okay. But when you all of a sudden you have this lush big guitar sound. So yeah, I used all. So Dimension D, the Symphonic, Tri-Chorus A3000, Korg straight delay, dual delay, circular delay, ping pong delay, guitar room, and then I had another extra additional reverb of this same PCM60 or BM60 called the AC chamber. So, you know, great stuff. And these are all, again, parallel. So these clean guitars, they are going to the guitar bus, which eventually leads to the mix bus. All guitars go to guitar bus. And then all these effects, they go to effect bus. And from there, they go eventually to the mix bus. So there's always the dry signal is there, and then these effects are blended in as parallel. Kind of like having a wet dry wet rig. All right, so that was a pretty lush. I would like to play you more, but I can't. But it's great. So what I did is, as you saw, I used all of these. So let me do it now here. So I'm just blending a little bit of everything. So the Dimension D, which was this one, and then the Symphonic, the Tri-Stereo, and so on. So check out this huge sound. Then I'm gonna blend in the delays too, and wow. sounds here. This is so cool. So lush sound, really 80s. And this works for, I mean, I've used these kind of clean sounds on many other productions too, with Syra sometimes too. Okay, then let's add some circular delays, because I know that Petrucci used that. So this is, I do this with, I did a video about this, linking there. So the valve filter timeless, so circular delays. Add the DC, so this is on dual mono mode, so left side is 398, right side is 798, classic Van Halen thing. So let's blend this in. Alright, and the only reverb is this room reverb, which is not, let me put everything this down, and I will show you the room reverb I have. It's very mild. Just creates, it's like my room microphone, but I don't like reverbs that much. I like to do the reverby kind of sounds with delays and choruses. Now, this is just a stock Pro Tools studio reverb. Let me show you another one which I've actually used a lot in mixings. It's this one. Plugin alliances I have here called Guitar Room and Acoustic Chamber. This is a Lexicon PCM60, you know, this is great version by Plugin Allies and Better Maker. So I use this, but since I'm not screen recording and, you know, I have the Pro Tools Carbon, this is AX DSP, so there's no, this is actually, this is really good too. It's Pro Tools own studio reverb, set to as a room. Okay, now let's do some overdrive stuff. So now to Plexi, straight into the Plexi and into the Boogie cabinet. Photograph. Well, yeah, it sounded great, Plexi, but it was not kind of like, you know, 80s stuff. So what we're gonna do, let's add first some circular delays. Just a little bit there, kinda shaded. Less. delay already take this to another level. This, believe it or not, I used this delay on rhythm, some more modern heavier stuff too, just subtly to create a sense of space. One thing that I 100% pretty much use on rhythm guitars is the Dimension D. Check out what happens. Especially when you double or quadruple, it makes them even bigger and wider. You didn't hear that, oh, there's chorus. It was just like, man, the guitars are wide. So this is one thing that I use a lot. Cool trick. Then SPX 90, of course, you want to have the No More Cheers sound. I use this a lot on guitars. Sometimes really subtly, but if this is used heavily, you get this sound. Probably quite a lot of reverb, but I would like to do this reverb again with the circular delays, on the No More Cheers album. Like that. And the tri-chorus I haven't really used with distortion. But when using it subtly, in parallel, because these are aux ends, like I said, so I'm blending these into the dry sound. Again, cool thing, subtly in, wider sound. A3000. This is classic. Now let's do some Top of the World. Listen, this is without it. Nah, let's add the A3000 on the Van Halen's micro pitch setting. A bit too much. Not quite right. And what we do, we add the dual delay, which I'm using the TC. This is great plugging by TC Electronic of the 2290 delay. So 398, right side, 798, feedback 31, classic Van Halen dual delay. it goes. Anyway, yeah, there's the sound. It may sound like there's quite a lot now, but then when you have drums and bass and everything, those delays will disappear. I will probably, blend in more. So that's amazing. These two, this dual delay and the Timeless 3 with my circular delay settings, check out the video, I go through the settings. These are what I use basically on leads, both of these. So my lead sound is usually on my mixes. What you see on the YouTube here, these intro songs, it's this one. That was the Dunlop's custom audio electronics wah. If we go crazy, we can add ping pong. With these sounds, I could spend hours. Okay, let's bypass these. I'm gonna show you the ping pong delay. That is the TC again with my ping pong setting. So it's one delay, but it just bounces from side to side. So it's like this. What's cool with the TC2290 is this is like the original, that it's the ping pong is many delays, it's just tack 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 tack, but this kind of you can make this go a little bit like smoother, so that listen the how it changes. It's a little bit like it's not. I love this. I mean, I have the D2, which is like a poor man's version of the 2290. Let's close this by turning everything on, and I need to be careful that I don't wet my pants. Great. So you can get these whole reverbs and stuff without really, without using reverb. I mean, they had a little bit of this room, but not much. But different delays, choruses, because chorus is essentially a delay. It just delays the sound, modulates it, and then, since it's so short delay, arguments we preserve it as chorus and not delay. But it's basically what you can do with these delays. So you chorus the delay. But yeah, so this is my favorite 80s style plugins of good old 80s style rack gear. This is not a emulation of anything. It can do a lot of things, and I know that some of you will write, or if you haven't already written, that hey, this one can do circular delay, and this one and that one. Some of you wrote on my previous video about this delay. No, they don't. I've tried them. If you own a real PCM70, you're able to compare. At least in my experience, this is the only delay I have found that really does what the PCM70 circular delay does. Not kinda, not close, not in the same style, but just does it. Thanks for watching. This was a bit longer, but so many of you have asked me, how to get those lush, chorusy, big sounds, whatnots. This is the way I do it. This is the stuff I mostly use. I probably forgot something, but anyway, these all what I just showed you, they are on my mixing template. So sometimes they are all used, sometimes they are just a couple of them used, and sometimes they are all used at the same time. All right. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care. All the best. Bye.